Hey everybody, welcome back to the meadow. Today we're gonna go around and start doing some gathering and we'll show off a little garden haul. Here we have our yellow pear tomatoes. I actually, just a couple days ago, gathered more than 3 pounds of tomatoes from the garden. So it's kind of cool to be having some regular old produce. We're able to eat it and save it. I'm gonna freeze some for cooking later. Kind of have to sneak around here and find them all. Oh gosh, I didn't even see all these before. Look right in here. If I can get this guy off. Look at those. Really tasty. Let's see, let me lay those there. Oh, I should have let that one go a little bit longer, but it is what it is. I always manage to set my basket in one place and then start harvesting from somewhere else, but these yellow pears are really tasty and they're kind of fun looking and they make the dishes look even prettier. So I got these. That's all over here. Let's go around this way. These little guys have been super prolific, so tasty. I think they're an F100, which means they're a hybrid. And I bought them as a start from the local nursery. These are some chocolate stripies, chocolate sprinkles. No, chocolate. Those got smushed a little, but those are chocolate sprinkles here. Looks like we've had some guests up on this side enjoying a little bit, but that's all right. Yeah, we got to share a little bit with nature. All right, let's look over here. Oh, I see you. I see you. There we go. Between my hat and the vines, I'm stuck. All right. Let's see. I think I got to come around that way to get some more. A couple of single ones in here. We've had a good bit of rain too, so I'm starting to see them splitting. And that's just inconsistent watering or a whole bunch of watering all at one time. When you start getting these little splits on them like this. Doesn't make them bad. Sometimes they rot. Sometimes they don't taste as good, but they're not necessarily bad because of that. Now I keep tucking this up. I'm trying to keep the height of this away from the ground critters. We have armadillo and possum and raccoon and any of the, well, the other two, the armadillo. The armadillo can't climb up in the garden beds, but the other guys can. And so I've been trying to keep this a secret from them. They don't seem to look up and climb up so far in the garden bed, and I'd like to keep it that way. That's a much better thing, don't you think? I cannot believe how many tomatoes we have. This makes me so happy. Now you can start picking tomatoes as soon as they start blushing. It means they've released their sugars. Like this little tomato here, I could pick and then put it on the counter to ripen. But I have so many ripe on the counter right now, I'm just gonna let it stay out here and keep ripening. I'm trying to pick only the ripest ones or the ones that look like they're splitting, things like that. Because we went for no rain and I water every other day, and then we went with no rain to having an inch of rain in a matter of a day, which is a good bit of rain. Good little start on it. All right, let's see what else we can get on this next garden bed here. Man, they're just doing really, really well here. I had like a little webworm or something up in here, but everything still seems okay. I mean, we don't treat a whole lot. I use BT on the cucumbers and some of it sprays over the tomatoes. I've been really lucky with pests this season. So I'm kind of happy about that. I can't believe though, really, I'm still thinking about this. I literally just took 3 pounds off of this and less than 48 hours ago. I didn't even come close to getting it all. All right. Oop. Drop those off in there. How about that? There's that. I probably should be careful. Oh, I'm gonna bust them if I do that too much. Be careful. Anyway, I'll set that down. Now apparently these that grow in these clusters like this, they ripen from the stem out for the most part. So if you look at this, you can see that the ones closest to the stem are more ripe and the newest ones are on the end. So I'm gonna try to take the ones that are already ripe and leave those little green ones to keep on turning. Here's one I can take the whole stem. Here's one I'm gonna take the whole stem. I mean, not too shabby. Not too shabby. All right, let's look up here. And I have not pruned these. I've let them go crazy and wild and just not worried about it. And so far, so good. So many beautiful tomatoes. I think probably this is the best part, obviously, of gardening is when you get to harvest. Get to come out here and see the literal fruits of your labor, or vegetables of your labor, in this case, a fruit. You can Google as to why a tomato is a fruit and not a vegetable, because I just know that's the answer, that it is. Holy moly, all these beautiful tomatoes. Have to make me a nice tomato and cucumber salad maybe today. Tell me down in the comments, what are your, other than storing them and preserving them, what are your favorite ways to use up the tomatoes that are coming out of your garden? I am curious what you're doing. Mostly we just eat them in salads. I've never had this many before, so this is a new experience for me, trying to use them in recipes and stuff, because I've just never had this many at one time. So it's kind of fun, kind of fulfilling to be able to do that. And just think, if I had not started with starts, I wouldn't have these. And so I shared that during the garden tour that I was late starting everything, and so I just bought some starts from the local nursery, and boy, am I really glad I did. That $3.99 worth of tomato starts have definitely paid off, because I think we pay about $4 for a little thing of tomatoes every time we're at the grocery store, and they aren't any good. I mean, they're just not. Even buying local tomatoes, like, or they say they're from Florida or whatever, but they're at the grocery store, they're still not as tasty as homegrown tomatoes. And I just can't argue that. Now maybe if you go to a farmer's market where somebody's bringing them from their fresh garden, they're tasty, but the typical grocery store tomatoes are only okay. And I even brought some home. Some nice looking tomatoes, and I left them on the counter to ripen more, and they were beautiful red, a dark red like these, and the inside of them still tasted terrible. And so they were just picked before they even started blushing. Either they either gassed them, or they just let them continue to ripen. Like this one is barely blushed, so it will still turn red, but if enough sugars weren't in there, it won't have any flavor at all. And that, even though it was a bright red, I think that's what happened with the tomatoes I bought. All right, got another little cluster here. Holy moly. Oh, my hat keeps catching on the tomato plants. This is really funny. I guess I could have done a better job pruning them back, but also I'm happy to have so many tomatoes. Oop, there's another one for the animals. All right, let's see, we're almost there. I did not expect that I would have this many more tomatoes still. That's kind of cool. Those all just fell off in my hand. Holy moly, look at that. Good catch. Gotta reach all the way in here. Oh, some of these have been laying on the ground and the earthworms have helped themselves. Snails and bugs. Definitely have some cleanup to do in some of these, but that's okay. That's part of it. I hear some bees buzzing over in the cucumbers. I was just looking to see where they are. Check this out. Oh, this guy. Oh, he ran away. He ran away. Not a shabby tomato haul here. Now, we've got a couple of cucumbers. Cucumbers we want to get. Check that one out. Holy moly, that's a little monster right there. If this doesn't have any pickle worm holes in it, this will be the very first cucumber I have ever grown here without a pickle worm. And that makes me very, very happy. I don't see even one little hole. So I've started this season using BT. BT is a bacteria that will cause the caterpillars to stop wanting to eat. And so I am treating once a week with BT at the minimum dose. And then it rained over the weekend, and so I did treat a day early because it had rained and I saw these different cucumbers on, so I did make sure I treated it. Make sure you follow the instructions if you choose to use BT, but it is supposed to be completely harmless to humans. It is an organic substance. It is just a bacteria that doesn't bode well with caterpillars. They tell me it does not hurt the earthworms, and so that makes me feel a little better about it. And other things that eat the cucumber or the vines next to the cucumbers are not the butterflies that I try to help from a pollinator standpoint. So I'm not spraying it on any of my citrus trees or the milkweed or the dill or any of those plants that I use to encourage other types of pollinators. I'm not saying we don't need the moths. They have a big job to play, but I do want to eat more of my cucumbers. Got one more right here. Let's see if I can cut this one off. Oop, lost her to the ground. Let's get her picked up. Now, she does have a bit of a pickle worm hole there, so I'll show y'all my little trick of what I do when I see a pickle worm hole on my cucumbers. We got those cucumbers. I see some shishito peppers back here that are ready for harvest. If you have ever if you've never cooked with a shishito pepper, these work out really nicely. You rinse them off, dry them, and then you can blister them in a pan. And they make amazing little bite-sized appetizers. They're not terribly spicy. And as I understand it, these are also the same kind of peppers that are pickled and used for pepperoncinis, or what you might put in a Greek salad. So we may try pickling some of these at some point this season. Now let's move on to the pepper bed and see what we got. These Cajun bells have been ridiculously prolific. This is a single plant we bought as a start, and this is probably my 4th or 5th harvest. I usually get anywhere from 6 to 10 on each harvest, and they're really tasty in a salad. They're not as sweet as a bell pepper. They've got a little kick to them, but they make a really good addition to the salad. And just like most of these style peppers, you know, they start out green and then they turn different colors and then they get all the way to red. And so each color is a little different flavor palette for you. When you pick them when they're at their greenest, they taste more like a sharp bell pepper versus when you let them get a little bit sweeter. Some of these are really tiny. Makes them easier to pick when they're red because you can see them. That's all the red one. Then here we have a Thai bird's eye pepper. This is a Thai hot pepper, ornamental pepper. Nice spice to it. We freeze them and then save them to use in recipes. And I got to make sure I don't touch my eyes after doing this because the spice on this will transfer. And it can be very unpleasant. Very unpleasant. And I don't like very unpleasant. I would prefer very pleasant. How about you? Well, there's a bunch. Put those down on that end. Might try just popping them off with my thumbnail. It's a little faster. Of course, I do run the risk of breaking into one of them. Don't let the size fool you. I took these to Mom to show her, and she's like, "Whoo, I can't eat those. Those are too spicy." Now, if Mom says it's too spicy, it's a spicy pepper. Other parts of the family don't think it's quite so spicy, but I'm in the this is really spicy department. This was a little tiny 4-inch pot from the grocery store. Mom got this, and we put it in with the peppers so that it could have some companion planting. And I have probably cut it back, I don't know, more than 5 or 6 times, and it just keeps on growing. And the real job for it is to provide some confusion for pests, and then we can toss a few pieces right into our pasta if we want to too. Not a bad little basil haul there, along with everything else we got growing on. We are going to make open face stuffed bell peppers, so I'm going to take these and just cut them in half, and we're going to stuff them with some of the tomatoes, a little bit of cheese, and then ground chicken for some recipes this week. Hope that one's stuck in between. Huh. He grew in between. He's stuck. Still beautiful. Well, somebody decided to take a little nibble, but we'll be sure just to cut that little part away. All right. Let's see what else we can find here in the garden. We're starting to see more and more flowers on the okra, but for today, we just have this one. But I will tell you, if you haven't tried it, okra raw, especially when they're small like this, very tender, very tasty. If you don't like okra, try it raw and small and see if you feel differently about it. We have one lonely Asian wing beans waiting for more, but this can still be chopped up, tossed in with an egg, and be absolutely delicious. Now we have a few of the gung pao peppers over here. Sometimes I let some of them turn red. They've got a nice heat to them. Maybe we'll stick them in the stir fry this week, or maybe I'll chop them up and go in with our bell peppers. All right. I know I spotted a red one. Oh, here's one red one down here. And see, here's a nice big green one. It's kind of nice to be able to pick your groceries as you're ready to cook. Those are a little smaller. We don't have any loofah on yet. We've got some couple of tiny ones, so I expect pretty soon we'll be having more loofah than we could ever want from all these volunteers. I thought I saw one more in here. Oh, big one up top. I'm going to take the bigger of these two. This was an overwintered bell pepper. We just left it here. I didn't cover it. I didn't do anything. I just left it alone and let it grow. Here's one more here. And it has not disappointed in this raised garden bed. It's been a good choice over here. All right. I promised you I'd show you what I do. So when I have one that seems to have a pickle worm in it, I will submerge that cucumber under water, and then you can typically see that pickle worm make his way back out. Let's see if we can get it on camera here. There he goes. And there he is, taking himself back out of the cucumber, and then I can go feed him to the fish and I can slice this cucumber worry-free. So, not too shabby of a haul. Bell peppers, a red bell pepper, cucumber, shishito peppers, lots of tomatoes, basil, gung pao peppers, Thai chili peppers, Thai bird's eye peppers, and somewhere in here, a lonely little Asian wing bean. So tell me, what all is growing on in your garden? This time of year, things start getting prolific, things start petering out. It's just a season long of growing in Florida. If you want to see the other projects that we're doing here in the garden, be sure to check out this video right over here. That'll be the one that YouTube thinks is best for you. Until next time, my friends, remember to drink plenty of water, wear that high quality sunscreen, and as always, have a fantastic day.